Hi guys, good morning and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy. You could find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits on Instagram and Ravelry. I am a 40-year-old woman. I live here in southeastern Michigan. I live here with my 2 kiddos and my husband, and I love to knit. I love to crochet. I love to machine knit, and I love to share all of it and talk about it with you guys. So if that sounds like something that could be interesting to you, please stick around. I would love to have you. Okay, so this week has been quite a week. We're just gonna leave it at that. However, I do have some pretty cool things, or at least I think pretty cool things to show you. So first things first, let's go ahead and pull a random YouTube comment, and this winner will win a digital pattern prize. Why do I always flap those words around? So the winner will win a digital pattern prize, and if I draw your name, just reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits and let me know what pattern that you win, and I will gift it to you. If you don't use Ravelry, let me know that too, and I will figure out a different payment platform to gift this to you. Okay, so I am going to leave a blank spot right here. And if that was you, please reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry and let me know what pattern that you want. Okay guys, so like I said, this week has been a lot. It's been really rough. Like everywhere. We had rain pretty much nonstop, and if you guys are new here, I am an paralyzed person. My doctor says I'm complete. I mean, I have some feeling and I have some movement, so I argue. But with all of that said, it's been a rough week. The rain makes the pain, worse. And then a lot of other stuff have kind of contributed. But you guys are not here to talk about any of that. So let's just brush that off to the side because it's time to talk about crafting. So I am going to talk about what I machine knit first. I don't have all of it here to show you. I do have 2 of the different types of yarn that I used. Okay, so I had some Lion Brand Date Night, and I do like this yarn. I don't remember where I got it. I must have gotten it on sale on Lion Brand's website at one point in time because I had sets of 3 of them, but they're also discontinued. So you might be able to find it if you look at somebody's Ravelry stash, but here is what I kind of knit up. This is a machine knit hat, and I really do like the sparkle. So I made 1 hat with this. I had silver and I made a hat, and then I made 2 other cowls. I don't have the silver cowls with you to show you because I sent them off. I have started sending off some of the stuff that I machine knit to donate and things like that. So this is a cowl, and this is also with the Lion Brand Date Night. And I kept this one for my daughter because this is her color right here, and she loves this color, and she loves sparkle, and she loves pink, and this definitely screams her. So if you haven't heard of me talk about making these before, I mean, it's super simple, right? You just cast on the stitches around the Addie King, knit it until you almost run out of yarn, and then just take it off. I use 3 needle bind offs, so I put each side on needles, and then I just bind them off like I would by hand. I really like this. I think that this is the perfect length for her. I know that she goes between wanting scarves and wanting, a scarf that doesn't have an ending, depending on how she's feeling. She is 10, So you know how 10-year-olds are. But I had a lot of fun with this yarn. This yarn, guys. So I have dealt with both on the opposite side of the spectrum. I have dealt with yarn that hates being machine knit and yarn that loves being machine knit. This date night stuff made me wish I had more of it. It worked up beautifully. I don't know if I knit up, I think 3 plus 3, so 6 cakes of it I knit up in the Addy, and I don't think I dropped 1 stitch. It was incredible. I'm so sad it's discontinued. It feels pretty good, and I know my daughter's going to love it with all of the glitter and how sparkly it is, and especially this color. So I think it worked out pretty well. I did enjoy making it, and I really enjoyed working up this yarn. So I don't know if you guys can tell. Yeah, you can tell. That is the 3-needle bind off that I did. And it's not that noticeable. A little bit more on this side, like right there, but it's still not what I would consider bad. So it is very good, a very, very good way to practice finishing when you take an item off of a machine and finish it by hand. Because I can tell you, I feel like since I've started doing this, I've gotten better at things like 3-needle bind offs. What I need to do is make some of these KALs, but instead of 3-needle binding them off, I should Kitchener them just for the practice. So look for that, because that's going to be coming soon. So I did talk about a yarn last week called, I think, Big Twist Flourish. And these are pretty big cakes. I had 3 of them sitting around. And I took 1 cake and I made 2 bulky weight hats with them. And then I put pom-poms on them. Now, I started thinking about it and I was trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to do with the other 2 skeins of this yarn? I don't want it just sitting there. I feel like it should be made into something. So I started looking around Ravelry, like you do, and I found basically a pattern for a super bulky scarf. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to do that. So I did. And this is what I ended up with. This is the first color. Now, it's just a scarf. I mean, it's just one of those scarves you can throw around, and I do like it. It is pretty thick, which is good here in Michigan. If you aren't somewhere where it gets really frigid and cold, you might need a thinner scarf. But the way that the pattern worked, and of course I've got the pattern info up, the way that it worked is you chained a very long chain. And then you basically picked up the first row with half double crochets, and then you worked in the back loop up until I ran out of yarn. At the end, I had like maybe this much yarn left on this one. And then on the other one I ended like perfectly. So I was really happy. I got to use up all of the yarn in one project, rather, and I'm not worried about these cakes just kind of sitting here. Now, I've asked my daughter. She definitely wants the one scarf that I made her, and I know that my son will use this one, so I think that it worked out pretty well. These are, I believe, 100% acrylic, but I've probably put up the information up there as well. But I don't foresee any problems with like throwing them in the washer and the dryer. The pattern is very simple and I enjoyed it. It took maybe an hour or 2, maybe an hour and a half to make this. And when you think about knitting and how long it takes to knit a scarf, it's really nice to be able to crochet one, because otherwise I don't know if I'd ever sit and like really sit and knit a scarf. Although I don't want to say that because there is one scarf out there that I do really want to make. And it involves the Legend of Zelda. So maybe if I ever get up enough courage to make that one, we'll see it. But it's a great pattern. I really do like it. Okay. So this is the second big twist Flourish color that I made. And this one is, of course, going to my daughter. I enjoyed making it, and I know she's going to enjoy it because she's all about, just like me, she's all about, you know, the bright colors. And I mean, being 10 years old, she loves like the brights and the neons. I mean, of course, I love the brights and the neons too, and I am 40 years old, so take it as you will. And if she doesn't like this, although she already said she did, but if she hadn't liked this, I would totally wear it, because sometimes I notice that when I go out, like when we're going out on the weekends, I get really cold and it's very hard for me to warm up. I think it has to do with like the wheelchair, and rather than walking everywhere, I'm kind of sitting and I'm trying to like warm up. Sometimes I really, and you know what? I just went into a complete segue. I'm sorry, guys. So just bear with me for 2 seconds. Yesterday, we went on a walk around the block because there's a neighbor that has some chickens, and we love to go like walk down to their house and look at the chickens in the backyard. They have like an orangish red one, and it's so cute. I love looking at them. They're so cute. Okay, but before we went on our walk yesterday, I kept thinking, I wish I could bring a blanket. But I feel like that would be kind of weird, right? Seeing someone being pushed or wheeling down the road in a wheelchair with a blanket. But sometimes I feel like that. It's like the world has been really rough lately. Okay, so I do have some finished knitting to show you, and I have worked like a whole bunch trying to get this one done. So if you watched last week, I started talking about how I really need to kind of laser focus and concentrate on getting certain items done, so that way they're out of the way and I can just completely concentrate on my Christmas sweater knitting. And you know what? That's what I did. So this week I have worked on this for the majority. Now, I don't know if you guys can see all of it. Let me hold it like this and make sure it's not backwards. Nope, I don't think that's backwards. But this is the Joji Locatelli Let Your Heart Unwind wrap that I was working on for one Skein September. So I love this color. I think it's so pretty. Now, this is just a shawl, a one skein shawl, and I loved making this. Once I got the hang of this pattern, I fell in love with it. And in the middle especially, you get into kind of a rhythm. And I really, really enjoyed this one. This one makes me want to cast on to knit another one skein shawl like really badly, but I am withholding because like I said, I've got to concentrate. I have to concentrate on Christmas sweater knitting. But this is so soft, and this has actually been blocked. So I'm tongue-tied. Okay, so this was laid out last night after being soaked and put a fan on it, and it is completely dry right now. So this was knit with fingering weight yarn. This was Miss Bab's Yummy 2-ply, and the color is Floyd, and I love the color. I think that this would make like a really pretty cardigan. I don't need any more yarn to buy a really but it would be beautiful. Yeah, just like a sweater or something. I don't need to daydream about stuff. I'm trying to use yarn from Stash, and it's become increasingly difficult. So I got an email from Woolen Company, and they sent a newsletter that said that they've got 10% off on their yarn for right now because, you know, it's sweater weather. And I'm sitting here like, oh, I need to opt out of newsletters. But I do love this color. Seriously though, I have been trying very hard to kind of use what I have and be more mindful about my purchases. So I'm gonna regret giving this to my daughter. She's excited about it though. I went to her, I'm like, hey kiddo, can you wear a dress and put on this shawl so that I can take a picture of, you know, just her shoulders so I have something for Ravelry? And she's like, yeah, I will. So she's very good at being a model for me. But this did not take long. I actually cast this on at the 1st of September. I know that because, like I said, it was for one Skein September, and I had wanted it to count for the Hohi Locatelli knit along because I had signed up to make this. And I had also thought it would be really fun to kind of use one skein to make something during September for the knit along that Karen from the Recreational Knitter podcast is hosting. So I'm happy that it's done. And I'm happy that my daughter's going to love it. And if not, I'm going to take it back and love it for her. But in all seriousness, I do have another skein of this. And I have been eyeing only Yarn in the Building. It's a long wrap by, I think, Mary Annarella. And I am definitely going to be starting that wrap after the Christmas sweater stuff. Speaking of Christmas, so I have been looking through Ravelry patterns because every year I try to find a pattern that I can use for my Advent, but one that's not meant for an Advent. Does that make sense? So last year I used the baseline cardigan, and the year before that I used, oh no, what was it called? It was by Rebecca Clow, and it was a cardigan. And I'm putting up the name right here, but that was also not meant for an Advent. So that is kind of where I like to go with Advent knitting. I like to grab a pattern that people wouldn't think was made for an Advent and then kind of see if I can adapt it to that. So I was looking through Ravelry and I ran across a pattern, and I can't remember for the life of me who wrote it, but it's called Stripes Gone Crazy. And I am almost 98% positive that that is going to be the project that I work on with Advent yarn this year. So I might not start it right on December 1st. I might actually wait until January 1st to start it, only because it makes it a little bit easier filming and stuff so I don't ruin any colors for anyone. I always worry about that. But that is definitely going to be my project that I work on. Almost positive. Let me know if you guys have knit that one. I thought that it was gorgeous. I love the idea of all of the stripes everywhere and like nothing lining up. It was definitely like, as soon as I saw it, it was like love at first sight. Okay, let me think here for a second. What do I want to show you next? Because, so I am going to show you a hat, and I pulled this hat out because I had an appointment to get my braces adjusted. I wear KALs, knee, ankle, foot orthosis. I think that's what it's called. So I wear them on both sides, and there are times where it will rub against your skin and it kind of has to be adjusted. So I had it adjusted, I think maybe like July, August-ish, and I needed to get it adjusted again. I have been having some issues with rubbing, and it, long story short, I also needed to see about maybe getting another set of my shoes made, because I have to have a shoe with a lift in it. Okay, so this is what I pulled out to go to the orthotics. This is what I pulled out to go to the doctors. Okay, so this is my Musselburgh, and this pattern is by Ysolda Teague. Now, you guys, if you've watched for a while, you might remember this yarn. This is the yarn that I used to make my Stephen West shawl, the Vertices Unite. And these colors are by Mouse Witch Yarns, and it was the Sugar Plum set. And I love the way that these colors work. Now, I've got some thick stripes up here, and about what I felt would be halfway through, I basically cut the stripes in half widthwise, and now I'm gonna finish up the hat with the smaller stripes. My thought was that one half of the hat would be larger stripes and the other half would be smaller stripes. And depending on what kind of hat you wanted, you could flip it in or flip it out or do whatever. So I brought this knitting with me on vacation and did all of this, and now I'm kind of stuck about, well, a little bit more than halfway through. And through here you can see where I'm swapping yarn. I haven't woven in anything yet because I wanted to wait until I was completely done and then kind of, not completely done, up to the decreases, and then pull it inside out and work on the finishing a little bit. But I really like this yarn, and I will tell you that it is kind of painful swapping these colors over and over again. If I had this in self-striping yarn, it would be a lot more fun. I feel though that it would probably drive me crazy because down here where you're decreasing, the stripes would be a different color. Or not a different color, a different width. So the one thing that I do like about swapping my own yarn is I can make every row exactly the same color. Now, one of the things I also like about the Musselburgh is it makes a makeshift little bag here for your yarn. You can just put it all in the middle and then have it hold it while you knit. But I'm hoping that this is done sometime in the near future, but I'm not going to concentrate on it except when we go like to the doctors, because I need to work on Christmas sweaters. But look at this bag. I love this bag. It has cardinals on it, and cardinals are, I would go with saying, my favorite bird. I think they're so pretty. I actually have a paint by number coming. Do you guys do paint by numbers, or have you previously? When I was little, I used to love doing paint by numbers, and I started looking at Herschnerrs' site, and I'm going back and forth, and what do I put in the search engine when I'm at Herschnerrs? I put cardinals, right? So a bunch of different cardinal stuff comes up. They've got some like signs that you can make with beads and paint by numbers and colored pencil by numbers. So I picked up some of the paint by numbers, and one of them has like a bunch of different birds on this pole, and there's snow, and it just made me so happy. So it will be coming soon, and I hope to start it as well. It's part of my plan to kind of work on getting some decorations for different holidays in. I feel like birds and snow, kind of Christmassy. But now this one is something that I've been working on for, I think, the last week as well. So I spent a lot of time on this today. So let me show you what the picture looks like. This is a kit from Herschnerrs. And let me tell you guys about this yarn because I've never used it before. It is called My Ami and it is by Herschnerrs. And I would consider it a side, like a fingering weight, a sock yarn. And it's about half acrylic, half cotton. And I really liked working with it. Now, it's my favorite size to do amigurumi because it's pretty thin. And I find that when I use the thinner yarn, I like the way it comes out better. So this is what I have on this so far. Let me kind of not drop my bag. Sorry. Okay, so this is what I have so far. And she's not very sewed together all the way. And she doesn't really have her facial features. I kind of just tied this around because it's supposed to be a bow tie. And I looked at the picture and I'm sitting here and I'm at the point where I'm like done sewing little pieces together. And I ended up looping it around her neck for right now. I'm like, okay, I'll go back to that in a little bit. So if we take a look at the face of the pumpkin, I changed it quite a bit. So this guy has a smile and this pumpkin right here does not. He just has a nose and 2 eyes. But I still think she's kind of cute. I purposely didn't add the smile. I thought that the smile was too much. I liked the way that this one looked better. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cute. I had a lot of fun making it. And you know, I've been showing you guys like the cat gnomes, the cat witch gnomes, and like the Halloween house and stuff. I really wish I had some more of this My Ami yarn. So let me see if I can put that right. Okay, no, not gonna do that because it'll make it fall. So let me just kind of multitask here. Yes, it's My Ami yarn from Herschnerrs, and it is, one thing I really liked about this yarn was that it was 50 grams. So 50 grams for amigurumi is perfect because you have less waste. Okay, so it is 55% acrylic, 45% cotton, 120 yards, 110 meters, and 50 grams. It calls it a 3 light, but I mean, I would consider it, yeah, okay, it's a little bit thicker than the fingering that I would use to make this. So thicker than this, but much thinner than a worsted. And I like the feel of it. It also says it's machine wash and dry. So that is definitely a bonus, especially when you start talking about amigurumis that little kids might get, because my daughter just takes her plushies everywhere. Everywhere. They go on car rides with us. They go in the store with us, to the doctors with us, all over the place. Those plushies that she carries around have like seen more of the town than I have. So this is pretty cute. I have not done the face. You're supposed to embroider a nose and a mouth. I don't know how much of that I am going to do. Honestly, I think that it's really cute just like that. I even kind of like this being a scarf as opposed to the bow tie. So, I mean, we're gonna see what happens and how I finish it, but I did have fun. One thing that drove me crazy, and here it is. This is gonna be my gripe for the kit. So, look at this little picture. This little kitty cat has pink in the ears, right? And I'm sitting here looking in the kit like, there's no pink. What is going on? So the kit does not come with pink. They didn't even include like one of their little plastic floss, or yeah, the floss that you use to embroider the plastic canvas, that's the word. They didn't even include one of those, just to add a little bit for the ear. So that was kind of a bummer because I thought the pink would be really cute there. I am sure I have some pink yarn I could use, but that means I have to dig it out. And this is much too dark. So it is what it is. I thought that this was fun. This kit was only like $20, I think. And I think that it's going to go like right on our bookshelf, right by where I work during the day because I work from home. I think that it'll be kind of a cute Halloween decoration. So if you guys like doing stuff like that, I would recommend it, but bring your own pink yarn. Okay, what else do I have to show you? You know, okay, to be fair, I have no clue if I've actually done anything on this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because next week this is going to be my entire focus. So I might as well show it to you right now so that way you remember how it looks before I kind of try really hard to finish it here. This is my daughter's Christmas sweater. This is a Strange Brew by Tin Can Knits, and I have been working on, basically, I've been doing all of the knitting and she's been doing all of the chart picking. So what I'm going to be planning on doing once I get down to where I think the color work should end is I'm going to block it and lay it out and then have her try it on. I'll put it on cords and she can try it on and we can see kind of what we're gonna do from there because it really depends on how it fits. How it fits is going to affect what color I want to use, how long the sleeves should be, and just different things like that. I want to see if it's baggier or if it's more fitted, especially with color work. If this were the sweater that I just knit in one color like last year, I would have a much better idea of what's going on in terms of fit. But with the color work, it kind of gets rid of the stretch a little. So we'll have to see. I do know it fits her, but I want to see how much room she has in it. This is going to be so much fun. So this is the Strange Brew. I am using fiber optic yarn. I am using basically a gradient, a mini pack, and I wound them all together and you can kind of see the colors. I'm working from the outside in, so you can see how the colors are going to end up on the sweater, at least as far as I'll get through this yarn, because I'm obviously not going to make it to the end. But the other color is just this really pretty light gray. Now, I went to fiber optic yarn in July, I think. July or June. And my kids came with me and I basically sent them on a quest and said, okay, I want you to find one mini pack that you like and then take that mini pack and find a solid color yarn that would go with it. My daughter picked these colors, and whenever she was looking at it, I'm like, okay, but you know that these colors won't pop, right? And she's like, yeah, I want it to be subtle. So, well, she didn't say subtle, but she meant subtle. So we'll just go with that. I do like it. I love the way that it's showing up. You can tell my daughter's big interest right here. We have some birds. She loves birds and hearts and cat paws and cats and a mouse right here and another cat. And as soon as this cat's done, we've got a yarn ball at the bottom of that. And then she'll either pick more or we'll just have to see how long it goes on her, because I'm not sure how much more I'll need. I'll have to hold it up to her and see. This is Christmas sweater number 1. Christmas sweater number 2 I have is for myself, and I have to do the sleeves on that, which is fine. I'm trying to get my daughters almost done before I start picking up the sleeves. I really want to knit my sleeves though. The third Christmas sweater that I want to do is for my son, and it is going to be another one of these, except in the colors that he picked and in the charts that he wants. So I'm hoping that before Christmas is over or around Christmas, New Year, I can get a picture of them wearing their Christmas sweaters, because I try to do that every year. They still have the ones from last year, and they still wear them really, like, quite often. So it's always good when you make something for somebody and they actually use it, right? Because as knitters or crocheters or crafters, I mean, I know it took us a long time to do, and I know you don't want to mess it up, but use it, right? Because that's the point. Okay, guys, that's it for the knitting and crochet this week. I've got some kids in the living room that are waiting patiently for me because we have a video game that we want to play together. So I am going to give you a very quick book update, and then I am going to sign off. So if you are leaving now, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you come by next week. Leave a comment down below if you're interested in winning the digital prize pattern. Okay, guys, I can't even remember the books that I've read this week, but I do remember one. I read Don't Tell Me How to Die, and I believe this was by Marshall Karp, and I'm putting the information down below. This was a great book. Like, I found this book because I'm going through Hoopla, and I went to look through their thriller section, and I'm clicking on ones that I can borrow, and I ran across this one, and this was a good book. I could not stop listening to this book. So let me try to sum it up as best as I can without giving away anything. So it is about a woman whose mother dies when she is young because she has a genetic disease. So this woman grows up and she has a little sister, and they're both susceptible to this disease, and they get their blood drawn 3 times a year. And the last blood draw, she finds out that she's inherited the disease and she's going to die. So she decides that she wants to find her husband a new wife. Okay, are you guys following me yet? It goes in such crazy directions. It's a good book. I really recommend it. Now, this was a book that it was okay going in. I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. But when I ended it, I'm like, whoa, this thumbs up. So if you're looking for a good thriller, and I would take a listen to it because I thought that it was great. The other book that I read was Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, and that was a pretty good book too. I enjoyed reading it. I have read a couple of books from them before, but nothing recently, I don't think. I enjoyed this one. I thought that it was just a good thriller, and I would listen to it again. In fact, I'm going to check out Libby to see if I can find any of their books that are available to automatically rent. So, okay, I think that's it. That's at least as much as we're gonna talk about. I started another book, but I just started it. It's only 5 hours, which is a very short book for me. That's rare. Usually the books that I try to read, and especially the ones I use my credits on Audible, are like very long. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Okay, we are going to go play the video game because I know they're excited, and I will talk to you guys next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.